Welcome back. Hopefully we're going to put this pig to bed tonight.
Slowly kisses passing by the river.
So, as I said in the intro, we're literally just about like on the final stages of this side. So all we've got left to do today is fit the sill. So we'll just not even going to hang about. We'll just crack on and get into it. So I've basically clamped it in place. There's many places, as many clamps as I've got a few more clamps, as many as I can get. This isn't the line. This is the original line that I drew, which I was a little bit ambitious on that one. What I'll do is I'll draw a bit closer to where I need to be now. This is a tiny little bit out here, but if you remember when I did this outrigger, I actually trimmed that hole in the sill myself, so that wasn't a bad guess, I would say. So what I'll do is once it's welded in, I'll trim that out a bit better. I've got a nice little gap all the way up along the back of there, where the little reveal edge actually covers over the inner sill. This back one's perfectly lined up, so I'm happy that's correct. We're all good up here. This, however, if you remember in the last episode, and I said I welded this patch in, that I'd slightly underestimated for the line that runs along there. So I'm a little bit short there, but I'm not too worried. I can fill that little piece in. Again, that's the original line that I thought it was coming up to, but it's not. Again, I'll trim it down, mark it up. However, I've got a few more little bits there, but I'll be able to fill that as well. I might have to try and just sort of shape that back in somehow. And then just a series of spot welds along the top. So what I'll do is I'll mark this up now, take it back off, I'll trim it to roughly whereabouts I need to, test fit it probably a couple of times just to make sure that I'm happy with it. Once I'm happy with it, I'll drill some holes. I'll hole it up right the way along here, ready for the spot weld, and along the top. I'll tack it on with a couple of spot welds here or there, just to hold it in place so I can take the clamps off. And then I'll test fit the door and just see how far in or out we are. Because obviously it's easier to remove a couple of spot welds than what it is to start and de-weld, shall we say, de-weld this. So if I need to manipulate it or move it around any, I've got that option too. But I mean, I can already see, if you see the line on that, that's quite an edge there. And then when you come to the repair panel, that's just quite a soft edge where it's just not quite pressed properly. But yeah, like I say, once we get this welded in, we should be able to manipulate all that into shape and get it to where I want it to be. Hopefully without too much damage. Got it nice there, but I need to obviously manipulate it as I'm welding the panel. But you can see there, got a nice little gap round. I might need to just trim this a tiny little bit just to get it sitting in right, but because this one's proud of it, I could do that, but I want to have something to work with just as I'm welding it in. It's all nice and clean along the top there. Obviously I've got this little hole here that I knew I was going to have. That's not a great problem. Once again, with that I'm going to have to manipulate it just to get it where I want it as I'm tacking it in. But we've got a nice line all the way along here. Trim that in at the back. Spotted along the bottom. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean up all my areas that's going to be welded. This bit here I'm not 100% happy with. Still quite proud there. What I might do I might just make a small cut down there, small relief cut, and then knock this back over a bit, if that makes sense, so that this here then will line up, although that then would leave us a hole in that position there, which I really wouldn't want. But at least then the door shut will line up. As it is, you can see there's a step on there which isn't going to be good. So I may just need to modify it ever so slightly, just to make sure I'm 100% happy with the shut gap. But I'll see better once the door's on, because it might be a case of maybe knocking this out, filling this up, do you know what I mean? If the door comes into this corner. So see how we get on. As I say, I'll get it cleaned up, get it tacked on, and then we'll go from there. Right, we've cleaned up the edges. We've got it lined up about as best as I can get it. Obviously pattern parts and all that. There's an edge there, but what I'll do is once I've got a couple of tacks in here, or a tack or two in here, I'll knock that down get a tack in there first as well, because that's lovely and flush there, and then I'll knock that down, get that sitting right. I'll do the same back here. As you can see, there's just a slight edge there, but again, once I get a couple of tacks in there, I'll just knock that back down to make that sit in flush. I'll probably put a tack somewhere around here, and probably a tack along here somewhere, just because if I need to, I want to have the option to cut there and just knock that back to line that edge up. But what I'll do first of all, I'll get a couple of tacks in, a couple of tacks in the middle, a couple of tacks there, a few along here, a few along there, just so that the top edge from sort of here to there is sort of steady, and then I'll rehang the door, just see what my shut gap's like, and then I can work it from there. I would sooner cut off 2 or 3 tacks than cut off the whole sill again, do you know what I mean, to make it start. So we'll do that. The door fitted. I'm pretty happy with the line along there, which that was the easy part. What I'm not happy with though is this gap along here. That's a bit, I shouldn't be able to get my finger in, and then as I thought here, I think what I'm going to have to do is just cut it down there and just sort of knock that piece back in over a bit to get this line right. But that there is way too thick, so I'm going to have to try and shunt shunt the sill up over a little bit. Yeah, that might be a bit of fun. What I might have to do is just cut it off and just shave off these pieces just a fraction, just to bring it up over that little bit. Hopefully that might be enough just to bring it to where I need to be. So let's just take it back off and start again. Right, I've reset it. I'm over the top of this now. Still not quite happy with that gap. I want to squeeze that gap up a little bit more so it's along the same as this. And I think I've got no choice. I'm going to have to cut that down there. But I've got the bottom of the sill now sitting exactly where it needs to be. So it should just be a matter of cutting off. I've got a spot weld here on the sill and a spot weld at this end on the sill. Should just be a matter of cutting them off and just sort of push the sill up a bit and then re-tack them back on. As I say, once I get it sitting right, I'll put a few more in, get a good sturdy hold on it. Well, once I get it right and I'm happy with it, I think it looks like I'm going to have to remark all of these edges that I've got here. And this one here's sitting over the top now as well, so I'll have to remark all of these and re-trim them down a bit. That's much better now. Got a nice even gap all the way around. Obviously with the exception of this, I need to trim that down there, as I said before, and just knock that back over a tiny little bit, line that edge up there. But yeah, happy with that now. So what I'll do now is the inner edge where it's spot welded is actually the sill sitting a lot higher now than what the actual inner sill is. So what I'm going to have to do is just put a couple of welds along here wherever I can, and a couple of welds along there, because they're mating now, and then just try and manipulate it. So what I need to do is break the 2 spot welds that I've got on there now and fold that top edge down over to get it to fit. It shouldn't disturb this line, because this line is now on this plane, whereas the bit that's on the top plane is the bit I'm going to fold down. So that'll work well. Absolutely over the moon with that now, and I've closed up the bulk of that gap there, and what you could see inside there, I've closed that up as well. So knock off 2 spot welds. Once I've got these scribed to where I want them to be, cut that back to the sill sitting back in nice and flush on there, weld these sides back up, well, fit it back up again, put a couple more tacks on, try the door, make sure I'm happy with the door again. So, like I say, what I'll do, I'll mark these edges again, remark these edges, trim it back so that the sill fits on nice and steady. Put the sill back on, tack it on a couple of places like I did the very first time. I'll try the door on again, make sure that I've got this nice tight gap along the bottom again. Then, if that works, what I'll do is start weld along here and along here so that I can hold the sill in place, and then I'll manipulate this in along here and weld it down. All this along the front and along the bottom here is all alright, that's all in place. It's literally just this section here that needs a bit of manipulating and tweaking, which luckily is inside the door, so shouldn't be too seen. So yeah, sorry I didn't get the sill on this week for you. I did actually promise to get it on this week, but just it's been one of their weeks where it's just been non-stop the whole week. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about moving the videos from weekly to every 2 weeks, just purely so I've got a bit better content for you guys. I feel as though the content I'm putting out in the minute is like, oh look, I've welded a plate on, and that's it, done. Whereas I think over 2 weeks I'll probably be able to get better content on there, you know. Give us a little bit better time for editing, because it's now like 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon. The video goes live tomorrow dinner time-ish. That'll only give us tonight to edit it, which doesn't really give us a lot of time, you know. So I feel as though the editing even suffered a bit, so I'm kind of throwing it together just to get it out there, where I would prefer to take my time and do it nice. I give you guys a bit better, more feast for the eyes. So thanks for watching, thanks for hanging on. If you're still watching, hanging on this far, thank you very much. If you've clicked through, well, thank you anyway for even tuning in to watch. I'd like to thank all the new subscribers, because again, it's constantly climbing. At least we're heading in the right direction and not the wrong direction. And if you like what you've seen, let us know. If you didn't like what you've seen, drop a comment down below and tell us where I've gone wrong, what else you'd like to see, or what you think I'm doing wrong. Criticism's always welcome, you know. And thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I shall see you guys next week.